Months after press scrutiny uncovered several flaws in the St. Louis Development Corporation's handling of the ARPA funding, SLDC has now repeatedly blocked media attempts to access routine conflict of interest documents, raising some serious questions about the agency's public commitment to improve transparency. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, has been battling with SLDC for months to obtain those standard conflict of interest forms. Mark.
Holden, when you take a job in government, you sign these disclosures to give the public some degree of confidence that you will recuse yourself or that you won't steer public money to friends or family or yourself. But in a series of email exchanges, SLDC's refusal to hand over those forms or its insistence on charging steep fines just to see them, all of it reveals a dysfunctional records management system.
You'll hear Neal Richardson use one word an awful lot when addressing the board of the St. Louis Development Corporation or the Board of Aldermen. 33 times at a recent meeting, Richardson pledged himself to transparency at the city's nonprofit development arm. That's when we filed a sunshine request months ago, seeking all conflict of interest disclosure forms dating back to 2021. At first, SLDC said it needed additional time because the records could be, quote, located in a number of locations and may be voluminous. Then, SLDC replied, your request is extremely broad. I wrote back, no, it only pertains to a specific type of standard document which is in the public interest, and these boilerplate mandatory records are standard and should be very easily accessible and quick to locate. SLDC insisted it would require an agency-wide search of hard copy files which will likely result in considerable costs.
Frankly, I can't even imagine an organization admitting to that.
Alderwoman Kara Spencer, running for mayor, recently resigned her post on SLDC's board, citing her frustrations and a lack of internal transparency.
Well, if that is the case, that they're storing this information in various file folders throughout an office that would require 15 man-hours to accumulate, that is a huge problem in and of itself. It's a lack of organization that needs to be addressed.
So I wrote back and asked SLDC to honor its public commitment to transparency and not charge us to see the documents. Weeks later, the reply, along with an estimated cost, or transparency tax, of at least $300 to see the documents designed to guard against inside deals or public corruption. I asked Spencer if SLDC should release the conflict of interest documents.
They said they're physical hard copies that are in different departments. And
that's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, and there's no excuse for that lack of organization.
In the digital age.
In a digital age, in an organization that gets tax dollars, these are folks that get, this is an organization charged with driving economic activity for the city. That is an incredibly and an awesome responsibility.
And it just so happens to be a convenient excuse.
It's ridiculous.
SLDC initially said we have to pay them $300 before December 10 just to see those records. But perhaps even more baffling, they also managed to hand over some forms. Not all of them, but some, including some that were filed 3 years ago. Not clear how they picked those out. To be clear, state law does allow for this transparency tax. We sometimes pay it when the record is uniquely difficult to find somewhere else. But at least in the judgment of this reporter, charging the public to see what kind of conflicts our government officials already admitted in writing seems to fly in the face of the spirit of transparency, and that is why we're appealing